Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And today we're going to answer the question for you of if you should open for Misery. Misery is the new card that comes out in Marvel Snap this week, and we're going to give a full and thorough review of that card. But first, we need to do our last chance review for Scream, last week's Spotlight card. Scream is a 2/2, Series 5, 6,000 tokens. When an enemy card moves, deal 2 power from it once per turn. Scream is a card that you do not need to own in Marvel Snap. While Scream is extremely powerful, the decks that she goes in tend to be lacking, and the Clog decks that she fits in are just fine without her. You can run Clog without the move sub-theme, you don't need Scream, and the pure move your opponent stuff decks just aren't good enough. With no cards on the horizon for this particular archetype, there's no reason to get Scream right now. This is a card you can absolutely safely skip for the time being. Neither the stats nor the expert opinion suggest that this is a card you need to rush to get. It may be good down the line, but that time is not soon, nor does it seem to be on the horizon. We have Duruk's Clog as the Scream deck we're going to use as our example today. This is a good and powerful deck. Is it meta? No. Does it need Scream? I mean, there's plenty of versions of Clog that just don't run this card. This is, however, a really good example of a move Clog deck, and should you either want this card because you want to play this archetype or already have it, here's a good place to start. You can find Duruk at youtube.com/@Duruk4886 if you're interested in his content. Now, you need Cannonball and Scream for this list. White Widow can be Kate Bishop. I'm aware that's another high series card, but hopefully you're a Season Pass buyer, because Season Passes are the best value in all of Marvel Snap. Is Clog better with Scream is a question that has yet to be answered. My gut says no. The statistics thus far also agree. No. Turn 1, you want to play Hood. Turn 2 is Scream over White Widow. Turn 3, Debris or Goblin are generally better than Viper for Hood, and you can play Polaris if you have Miles and can start to get an area clogged. There's one other play on turn 3 and 4 not listed here. You have Titania in the list. You can play Titania with White Widow here if you're pretty sure you can clog a location. If your opponent already has 2 cards in one spot, it is a relatively safe thing. If not, your 3 and Miles could be 3 and Titania on turn 4, or you can just play Stegron. Turn 5, 3 and 2, or Stegron and Titania, or Arrow, and then hopefully you've clogged a lane by now, right? Ideally you've clogged a lane by now, and then you play Cannonball and Demon, and then you win the game. And that's basically it. That's how you win with this list. Scream is here as just a card that gets decent size as you're clogging the opponent, and thus you can win with it. One last look at this, one last look at Scream before, honestly, I expect this card to sort of recede into the background of the game after this week. It is a strong card without a great home, and again, if you want to play Clog and you want to play Clog this way, that's fine. I just don't know. I'm not convinced it's better than Classic Clog. Hey, if you're willing to, we bring you more top quality decks than anyone in Marvel Snap. 7 days a week. We've never missed a video since last March when we started going daily. If you're interested, we're trying to have 15,000 subs by the end of the year. We need about 1,000 more. If you're willing to hit that sub button, it would mean the world to us. Help us get there, and we will give you so freaking much content in return. This week will be 8 videos. 8 full-length Marvel Snap videos this week, each with at least 4 brand new decks. Further, liking and commenting helps us out with that YouTube algorithm, and it enters you to win an Agent Venom Season Pass. We give away 10 Season Passes at the start of the season, and then we give away 1 more per week for the rest of the season. So all you have to do is sub, like, and comment on this video. There will be a spot to comment later. I will tell you specifically what to comment. And 1 video this week will carry with it a free Agent Venom. If you're interested, please don't miss out. All right, Misery is our card that comes out this week. She is a 4/7, Series 5, 6,000 tokens. On reveal, repeat the on-reveal abilities of your other cards here, then destroy them. This is a brand new archetype maker, right? We've never had an on-reveal that then destroys the cards that are on reveals. And yes, it will only destroy on reveals, not just everything in that location. So this is going to be a sort of strange card to use. You can't just play it on a, for example, Bucky and get a Winter Soldier. You'd have to play it on a Carnage, which would then re-trigger, create the Winter Soldier, but then also destroy that Carnage. It's a really, really complicated card, and I'm not 100% sure about it. Let's go into some more detail, but first we need to talk about what the Spotlight caches are this week. The Spotlight caches that come with Misery are War Machine and Namora, and this is almost without argument the single best and most valuable old card week of the season. There's a lot of Series 4 cards and Spotlights this week. War Machine is a Series 5 card that's in a lot of meta decks, and Namora is a Series 5 card that a lot of people skipped. That's a major enabler of decks. We'll look at War Machine and Namora more later, along with, but we're going to get to Misery first. As far as the variants go, this is a fine War Machine variant. I have a Dan Hip and a Blueprint, so I'm good there. I do need the Namora variant. I don't have a Namora variant, and while I actually kind of, I'm not sure I'm in love with this Namora variant, I'm going to go open for it because I want to have variant for every card. It's one of my content creator-y things I do. I don't like this Misery very much. I actually kind of like the base art better with the like tongue out and the silly like Carnage look. All right, so synergies. First, this is amazing with Electro. With Electro, you're basically getting +2 energy the rest of the game. That sounds really good. You're wasting 1 turn of that energy, but so what? Like, you're playing a lot of kind of junk to trigger Wiccan. You can do this play. You can run a Blink in that deck, and you can just run a bunch of bigger stuff instead of having to run smaller stuff like you often do with Wiccan. Nimrod stuff really seems to like this play pattern because Nimrod stuff really, really likes Wiccan. Imagine going a Shuri, right, into a Nimrod and immediately being able to Carnage, for example. That's, or just you play Electro, then you play this, right? You play Misery, then you go immediate Nimrod Carnage, and all of a sudden you're just going really, really well. So this also works well with stuff like Hood or White Tiger. If you put it on Hood, it's going to destroy the Hood, but give you an extra demon. White Tiger is a 5/1, so who cares? You just get the extra body back. Armor should definitely protect the card, but you still get your on reveal. I don't know why it says only through decks, ignore that part. Carnage and Deathlock type stuff work really well with Null, where you destroy them, you destroy all the enablers, and then you can get the Null stuff going. And even better, if you get the Null stuff going, then you can Electro that, then you can Zola that and just go to town. Zabu and Psylocke might be good here. This card would really, 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 really benefit from Classic Zabu, but that card doesn't exist, so I'm not really sure about it anymore. This works for both with Clog cards reasonably well, and it's a counter to Clog cards. It'll blow up the goblins, whether they go back or not. It'll let you retrigger your Debris or White Widow. I think that's likely to be the best spot. So many cards go with Clog. So this is a new style of card, and this makes it really, really hard to be sure about going forward. All right, we're going to begin, as always, with Doc D, the king of new Marvel Snap card content. And from Doc D, we go to Res Snapper. These are the 2 best new card content creators in all of Marvel Snap. And if you want to hear them, check out Saturday's podcast, where we had them both on to talk about the season. Snap Children's podcast right here on this YouTube channel. All right, so Doc D's Misery list is a Clog list. Hey, crazy that. So this one works really well. Misery should work very well with Hood. Misery should work very well with Kate Bishop. And it should work very well with Debris and White Widow. Is it something you want to use on absolutely everything? No, but if you can get that double Debris that just wins the game, it feels like it's probably worth giving a try in this shell. Is this going to suddenly re-break this type of deck? Who the hell knows? But it does offer value. It offers Clog and then counter Clog, which has some power. Next up, we have Res Snapper's deck. I really like this idea. Res Snapper basically says, okay, so if I compile whatever 1-drop with Master Mold, with Black Widow or Rockslide in a deck, and then I can Misery it, I don't really care. I lost 7 power, I gained 7 power, but I re-triggered all that stuff, and now I've got a stupidly big Darkhawk or Ronin to play with Mystique. And then you win, right? And then you can play those with the demons and stuff. And then you should win. Like, that seems really cool. I love this idea. It's super straightforward, but very, very powerful. Drewski has a much more standard Darkhawk. This one is just saying, why don't we just blow some stuff up? I don't know why Rhino's in this list. I don't think Rhino's supposed to be in this list. I might have clicked the wrong card. Whatever. This is a much more standard list. It's running Agent Venom. It's just saying, I've got some power. I can do some cool stuff here and win. Finally, we have my brew, which is Misery Love Symbiotes, which is me trying to put together a symbiote list with Misery and Electro. Basically, I want to go Misery, Electro, and then if I can blink into Null or Nimrod, I'm pretty happy, or I can just happily play that Null. And once I've played that Null with all the Destroy triggers I could have, I could literally go Carnage, Electro, Misery, right? And then play my Blink or play my Null, and then Zola it. That seems like it's probably pretty good. I'm really excited to try this deck. This is where I'm starting, and I think this is going to be the best home for the card. I fully plan to explore this space unless Armor takes over the meta for a week. All right, that's all our Misery decks. I just don't think there are a million. I think there are only certain homes that want it. You can play it in a Classic Destroy, but like we know what that looks like. All right, so my Season Pass question, if you want to win Agent Venom, is real simple. Do you think Misery has a real home, or is it too niche? And to put some extra credit on this, should this video be the one that carries the season pass, what I'm going to do is at the end of the week when I pick that season pass winner, I'm going to see who was right. If you say no and Misery sucks, then you'll be eligible to win. But if you say yes and Misery is awesome, then you're eligible to win. That's how we're going to do it. All right, if you're interested in decks, gameplay from these decks, please check out the stream team. Obihaved streamed earlier today. Tomorrow, Gregor2424 will be streaming a lot of decks from this channel. Please do check them both out on Twitch and on YouTube. Okay, we have War Machine. That is our spotlight card for the week. That is like the shining light of the season. The best card coming in spotlights this season outside of new cards is War Machine. Series 5, 6,000 tokens. It is a 4/6 ongoing. Nothing can stop you from playing cards anywhere. This card is extremely powerful, and in my opinion, it is currently in the best deck. It's a card you absolutely want to own. It opens up a lot of gameplay with earlier series cards and later series cards. The best deck for War Machine is, in my opinion, this one. Our friend Sizer is number 1 on the Infinite leaderboard with this list. We got an Infinity board with this list last season. This is a through-the-roof powerful deck. It is extremely hard to beat and has play into absolutely everything. Do try this list. You will not regret it. You can do the Storm War Machine Legion combo, or you can just use War Machine to get into locations that would otherwise be bad for you. You can't Madam Web in there, but you can play like an Iron Fist into there or whatever else. It's really, really cool, extremely powerful, and very worth looking into. This is one of the biggest reasons, best reasons to get War Machine. Then we have Prodigy's Firestarter. Prodigy made this list a few weeks ago. It's been in and around the meta. War Machine goes really well with Pixie because Pixie goes really well with Infinite, and so does War Machine. So basically what you can do is if you end up with Pixie and not War Machine, you can get yourself a cheap Infinite. You can skip a turn, and then you can play that before turn 6. 20 power seems pretty good. Or you can just War Machine and just drop it when you want to. Really cool, really simple, really straightforward. We have Mr. LA's War Picks. This is my personal favorite of the Pixie War Machine decks. This one runs a Cersei Annihilus combo. You can go War Machine into whatever Annihilus or Cersei nonsense you want, into Infinite, which is just crazy strong. You can not play Infinite at all. You can go into Sentry and Ebony Maw, right? After it, and then you can Annihilus or Cersei to end the game. Tons of power and super duper cool list. Finally, we have Bonkerton's list. I still have this in my game and play it all the time. This is a list that I'm very, very, very curious if I can fit Misery into, because I think Misery into Electro would make a lot of sense here. Not 100% sure, but I feel like it's probably solid. This one basically says I can go Electro into Blink or Electro into War Machine. If I go Electro into War Machine, I just have extra energy. I can play that Ebony Maw with my Cull Obsidian, which is a nice 17 power turn, nice 17 power play. I can do all sorts of silly stuff, or you can just blink away that Electro and go to town. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, then we have Namora. Namora is a 5/6, Series 5, 6,000 tokens on reveal. Give +5 power to each of your cards alone in another location. This is weak to Junk, but Junk is less prevalent now, and it is still a very, very powerful card. It's really interesting. It's really powerful. It is worth owning, and it was considered at the time to like it was going to be the worst card of its month. It did not end up being terrible. It ended up being quite good, and it enables its own decks. Let's look at some of those lists, including the first one, which we're going to have to feature in a full video soon. This is Woody's Big Scar list, basically built around the idea of being able to Namora up 2 cards to make yourself a 2-cost Scar, which is really, really kind of great with Killmonger, and then if one of those cards is Scarlet Spider, you can just sort of go to town. You don't have to Namora here. You can Gwenpool Scarlet Spider, and then hopefully win that way. There's lots of ways to win. Iron Lad gives you all sorts of optionality. Copycat gives you all sorts of optionality. Ghost and Killmonger take care of the Zoo matchup and all the junk crap all over the place. Really very cool list. Woody's amazing at deck building, and this will be featured in a full video relatively soon. Then we have the Namora OP. This is also a Woody list that I really like. Again, this is still in my game. I called it Wongers. You can do the giant Black Panther thing. You can do the Million White Tiger thing. You can do the giant cards from Namora thing. Any of those are perfectly fine, and you don't have to sort of tip your hand off early, so you get a lot of power. Scarlet Spider is pretty good with Namora, but not a requirement. For example, this is Avazor's Galactus Namora list. You don't play Namora with Galactus unless you choose between the two, generally speaking. And you can still Wong Namora Odin with this list. You can symbiote Spider-Man Namora Odin with this list, or you can symbiote Spider-Man Galactus in order to win. Either of those work perfectly fine. Symbiote Spider-Man is really good with Cassandra Nova and Sage 2 for this kind of list, and you just have a ton of power, and Symbiote Spider-Man helps you have few enough cards to make Namora really good. Finally, we have the classic. This is good old Safety Blades, the One Piece. This was all over the place for a while as the best Namora deck. It still got really good stats whenever you check the stat trackers. Almost no one plays it. Wong into Namora to steal a lane, and with the movers into like a Sage is just through the roof power. You can even go Wong Sage, and as they expect an Odin and abandon a lane, Namora to steal another lane. There's a ton of stuff to do, or White Tiger to steal another lane. Namora is sort of backup White Tiger in a lot of these lists. Since White Tiger gives 8s, it's much better. But even with that, this is absolutely stellar power and worth checking out. All right, so should you open this week? Misery is weird, and I don't like her. Bluntly, I just don't think she's going to be good. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want cards in Marvel Snap to be good and playable. War Machine is great since he became an ongoing, and he opens up a ton of decks. You basically get a nice War Machine package if you own War Machine. You not only get to run him with Storm and Legion, you get to run him with Ebony Maw and Infinite, and then any combination of those cards. Namora is underrated and opens up a few decks, but they're very specifically Namora decks. Do you like on-reveal stuff? If so, then Namora might be the card for you. Quick note, on Thursday's video, because remember, video every day, on Thursday's video, I ask a bunch of top Infinite players what they think, what their first impressions are of the card, and I report them out to you. On Friday, I then take that information and the stats and give you a weekend mission based assessment. Then by Monday, I'm able to give a final assessment where I say, I've got all the stats from the weekend, sometimes Sunday's video, as you can see at the start of this one, I can take all the stats from the weekend and say this card is worth it right now, this card is not worth it right now. We have yet to, I believe, be wrong on a Sunday/Monday assessment, so if you have the patience to wait for this card, do so. If you need War Machine, though, you could just open now. War Machine is definitely worth it. You should probably own War Machine in Marvel Snap, assuming you'll play it. If you need Namora, I would suggest you wait until Friday, and yeah. That's basically my assessment. I don't think you should open for Misery right now. Misery is the only card you need. If you need Namora, you're waiting until Friday, and if it's decent, that Namora can push you over the edge. If you need War Machine, you should just get War Machine and open for War Machine. The end. Questions of the day, Patreon, and we out. So questions of the day. First is a Marvel Snap PSA. Split odds have gotten worse by about 7 to 8%. Lauren Whatevs ran a whole bunch of math, and that is ridiculous. Please do sound off. Let Second Dinner know that it is miserable, that we have lost like a ridiculous amount of percentage. Trust me, I've been splitting a lot lately in terms of getting gold, ink, crackle, etc. And God splits have gone down even more because if you have less of a chance of gold and you have less of a chance of crackle, those two combine to be significantly less of a chance of God splits, like 15%. That's horrifying. Tell Second Dinner, let them know that we would like our cool splits back. They did not need to make these worse. Flan56 asked my thoughts on the Knicks trade. That's nice and simple. All right, so the Knicks traded about a week ago now, week and a half ago. They traded, as my wife throws things in the car, and drops everything. Sorry. They traded Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo with a mediocre first-round pick for Karl-Anthony Towns. They did this largely because Isaiah Hartenstein took more money from Oklahoma City to leave the team. They offered everything they could, but salary cap said they couldn't offer more. It was a trade that you have to make, I think, as the Knicks, not because you must have Karl-Anthony Towns, but because you should probably play basketball with at least one center. Losing DiVincenzo really, really hurts, and I think it makes the trade significantly worse. I'd much rather get rid of Josh Hart based on the skill sets and what Towns offers, but what you have with Towns is the two best wing defenders in the league in Bridges and Anunoby, and then Hart is a good enough defender, but that just means people are going to try and pick on Brunson and Towns, and we're going to have to see how that works. We also have to see if Towns' stats going down were a result of Anthony Edwards' ascendance or a result of him losing skill. If he lost skill, if he's on the downside, then this is going to not work out, and they should have held on. I think it's a trade you kind of have to make because it's, again, really, really hard to play without a center, and there doesn't seem to be one coming on the market, but it is a very high-risk trade. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, I love the trade. DiVincenzo gives them spacing that they really lacked. They needed a shooter badly. Randall, I don't think is significantly worse than Towns for what they do. I think this makes them better this year, and it offers them a lot of cap flexibility into the future. I, again, love this trade for Minnesota, and I think for the Knicks, it's a trade you have to make, but not a trade you're happy to make. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. I'd like to thank you too, and I'm going to go quickly because I got to run out in a few minutes. And Abigail Gieslin, Manager Burnout, irregardless of Wingfield, Darrow, Philabi, FaThorNewman, Good Dog, Inc. And Frostman, Jane, Every, Corin, Prime, Brian, Bramber, Characters Lee, Quarry, Black Dahlia, Pyrofrost, The Goat Seeker, Demon, Falcon, Archangel, 3K, Hollowed, Gwen Rojo, Doc D, King of Marvel Snap Card Content, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Digit Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Best Exorcy, Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Dusty Gamble, Woody, Kev Soda, Lunacris, Quantum Kin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Clam, 8th Stage, Models, Mod Supreme, Darth Tater, Joe P, who's no joke, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan Smart, Jason B, who we owe our life, J.D. McDonaldino, The Fuzzy Law Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mike J Snowflex, Oculars, Mr. Craig, Starry, BG, Jonesy! Check out the Triple Threat, Two Ties, The Great Lorm Devs, The Pirate King Tuccrr, The Homie Man, and of course, Kenny T. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in the top 5 decks of last season, click right there, or check out our wonderful Pokemon Pocket content if you're so inclined. Sub right below my face where you can click that button. See y'all tomorrow for some awesome decks, including White Infinite With. Peace.